Okay, I think we're live.
All right, let's
All
go.
right. Hello, everyone. Okay, so for today, or for our episode today, so with me is Sir Adel. So I'll introduce you for yourself, sir, and then just fill up
Sure.
if there are informations that I left. So
Mm-hmm.
Sir Adel, he's a current assistant professor in UP, University of the Philippines, Electrical Electronics Engineering Institute. And right now, he's on study leave, taking up
Yeah.
his PhD in electrical engineering at UC Berkeley. So, and I invited Sir Adel to talk about his journey experiences as he worked towards getting admission offer to his PhD. So I asked you about this before, but yeah, maybe we can formalize it a little bit. Feel free to just remove some confidential info that you don't want to share online, but I know you're good at it, so you can do that. So
Uh,
yeah, we have a gazillion topics that we can actually talk about. Yeah, but for this episode, let's focus on your journey leading to getting admission offer. So yeah, let's start. We can start, I guess, with you, sir, telling me something about maybe your life, like what was your purpose in getting a PhD other than for your faculty position.
well, basically, that's the ultimate reason. Okay. Background information, I guess, just for the sake of the viewers. So again, I'm an assistant professor. Um, I finished my master's back in 2014. So from 2014 all the way to 2017, I'm actually a full-time professor, so assistant professor. Even so, although while I'm taking my master's uh, from 2012 to 2014, I'm also teaching part-time. I don't know if that's considered part-time, but yeah, basically I'm an instructor at that point. So 2 years as an instructor, and then after getting my master's for 3 years, I'm an assistant professor. So now, basically, I think it's a department requirement required by Triple E. I'm not really sure if it's required by UP, maybe in a way. Um, but yeah, so for me to get tenure, I need to get my PhD degree. So after teaching for 3 years, I think it's more of an internal requirement by Triple E
Yeah.
that they requiring uh, people who's teaching um, maximum of 3 years if you only have your masters, and then after
Mm-hmm.
that, now you have to get your PhD degree to continue teaching. So yeah, basically that's the ultimate reason why I considered getting my PhD degree. Why am I studying right now? And yeah, well, so in the end, it all boils down to why do I want to keep on teaching, I
Teaching.
guess,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So we can actually like um go back to when I started teaching. So again, I started teaching when I was doing my masters back in UP. And so when you're um when you're about to take your master's degree, basically you have like two paths student in UP. So
Mm-hmm.
one, you can actually be ERDT scholar.
Yeah.
That's one of the default paths for the master's students in Triple E,
Yep.
to be specific. And then the second path is basically for you to be an instructor. Okay, so for you to basically like part-time teach students, handle lab sections specifically, and that's how you like get your salary, right? So
Mm-hmm.
again, by doing the or by being an ERDT scholar, your tuition gets paid for, as well as you also get this monthly, I think, monthly
The
stipends.
stipend. Yep.
right? Yeah. And then being a faculty member, basically same thing, right? So your tuition gets paid for, and you also get a salary, monthly salary. So instead of stipend, it's a salary. So when I was like considering taking my masters, so again, there's this two choices. And basically the ultimate motivation, the only difference between the two is that um, doing the teaching thing offers more money.
Really?
Yeah.
Like if
This
you apply as instructor and then you're taking up your masters and you teach?
you earn more money. Basically, the salary is larger than the stipend.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
So
times have changed now because I think they don't accept full
is
time
it?
faculty if you're taking currently taking masters. So if you
Yeah,
are
I
taking up
think
your
so. Yeah.
masters and you want to teach, you become a teaching fellow or something.
Associate,
Associate,
something like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
So yeah, back then it was different, right? So um, yeah, basically that's the main motivation why instead of doing the default ERDT, taking the default ERDT scholarship, but not default, but rather the default path.
yeah,
You still have to apply for it, right? But yeah, instead of doing that, I opted to do the faculty, take the faculty position,
yeah.
and
So
yeah.
basically what I'm hearing is so there are many different motivations for starting a PhD, and for your case it's
hmm
because you want to have a career in the academia,
Yeah,
right?
I wanted to um, continue teaching, right?
Yeah.
So again, it's kind of funny if you think about it because again, I started this teaching path motivated by money.
So
Right?
was it your
Just
goal
because
ever?
the salary is larger. However, I think the turning point where I just like realized that okay, this teaching thing is actually something that I can do, something that I love to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that happened um, when I got my um, master's degree, and then I started teaching or started handling the 1 week workshop sessions from PIIC. I don't know if you're
Oh yeah,
aware.
yeah, I'm aware of
Yeah.
that.
So PIIC. So just for the sake of the audience, um, PIIC is basically a Philippine Institute for Integrated Circuits. It's a DOST project. I'm not sure if it's DOST. I think so, but yeah, it is a government funded project proposed by the UP Microelectronics Laboratory.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the ultimate goal of that project is to uh, teach other universities basic microelectronics stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the motivation of that is since microelectronics is something that's growing, especially in the Philippines, um, and the usual source of microelectronics graduates are always coming from UP,
Yeah.
and there's this internal struggle that okay, maybe the demand by this semiconductor companies is increasing, but the supply, basically UP, might not be enough in the long term,
Yeah.
right? So now basically the goal of this project is okay, why not expand this microelectronics expertise to different universities as well, such that they can help with the supply, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in the long term. So again, that was like proposed back then, and the very first workshop was 20, was back in 2014, and the very first workshop or the very first workshop um, was held like a week after I got my master's degree. So basically,
Oh.
right after I got, and that was in Cebu. I think it was held in Cebu. So 1 week after the recognition rites,
Mm-hmm.
I went to Cebu and then did my first
Mm-hmm.
teaching job, and that's actually indeed my like first lecture. just because when I was still an instructor in UP, I'm just holding the lab sessions,
Lab
right?
classes.
So
Yep.
yeah, lab classes and maybe discussion classes, right? But it's somewhat different if you're well, maybe you can think of the discussion classes as somewhat similar to lecture,
Mm-hmm.
right? In a way, but I think it the lecture setup is a little bit different because you're presenting new topics instead of comparing that to
Reviewing.
discussion classes wherein you're
Yeah.
just reviewing, right? So introducing new concepts is actually a little bit tricky if you
Yep.
think about it. So yeah, that's the ultimate difference, and I think that's where everything clicked, right?
Yes.
So when I was so again, I was already teaching, and then when I held this very first lecture session, which is not in UP, and I'm facing like um uh, uh
It's basically a decision point because you just graduated,
yeah,
so you can leave if you want to, right?
yeah, I
Or can you?
can. I think I can. But I just so when by the way, during 2014, that was the shift. I think that was when the academic calendar shift happened.
Oh no, it was actually when I graduated. That was
Is
2016.
it?
Yep.
Is it
It's been so long.
really? Okay, but yeah, but anyway, during that time, so after I got my master's degree, so I basically have this like summer session
Mm-hmm.
as a break, right? Before starting the new semester as now a full-time faculty, right? So during this summer session, I held a lot of these 1 week workshops under PIIC where I was holding the lectures. And through this series of workshops, through this series of lectures, I think that's where I really found my passion,
Oh.
right? So I started to like um, appreciate uh, the things in doing the lecture.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like it's hard to describe. Maybe I guess the best way to describe it is I like seeing the
Your students
students
learn and appreciate the
learn
subjects.
and finally understand something
Yeah.
that I'm teaching for the first time, something like that, right? So the way this might sound cheesy, but
Cheesy.
the way their eyes glow up when
Yeah.
they finally understand something, right?
Yeah.
Understand something new.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in the end, I think that's what motivated me to actually do. I always want to see that glow in their eyes.
Yeah.
So I started to like master my craft.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
and I can vouch for that. You did not become my professor in any class or something. But yeah, my classmates, people in my batch would always say that Sir Adel is one of the um fun fun and good
Fun, yeah.
professors in the institute. And yeah, it makes everything sound like the gravity or the difficulty of the subject, it kind of decreases a little bit, at least their how they approach it. Because if even if the
Hmm.
subject is hard, if you're having fun, if you're having a good time learning, it kind of decreases the tension that the students are feeling.
Yeah.
So
And
is
I
that
think
what?
you can attribute that
Mhm.
passion in teaching, the way I like simplify the difficult concepts. I think I can attribute that to this like PIIC workshops that I did during this summer before I started teaching full time.
Mhm.
So I really like um, recognize like, this PIIC thing as really a significant stepping stone for me to really master this.
Yeah. How does it go hand in hand with doing research though? Because as a full-time faculty, you also have research responsibilities, right? So you also love doing research, I would assume.
Yeah, but okay. So I guess my case is a little different. Okay. So usually, so again, once you're a faculty member, one thing that you're also doing is advising
Mm-hmm.
198
Mentorship,
students,
yeah.
right? The senior students, guiding them to their for their capstone projects, right? So 198 basically. Um, I don't know. I During my 3-year time of being a full-time faculty, I only advised one.
Eugene, is it Eugene?
It is Eugene,
Yeah.
yes.
Hi, you.
Hello, Eugene.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I only advised one. I really can't say what's the actual reason for that, or maybe because back then Sir Louis was really like um
Was he
very
busy with?
engaged,
Mm-hmm.
in this undergrad projects, to the point that he's mostly taking over basically these different groups for 198, to the point that he never really needed that much help in terms of
Mm-hmm.
advising. um and then there's also other more senior faculty members that's also helping him if ever, right? So it's basically my job ended my job my my responsibility was somewhat um toned down in a sense. And maybe add to that is the fact that, again, all of the senior faculties um in microlab, to be specific, have their like PhD degrees and so
Yep.
on. So um maybe there's also this internal thing inside me, like I'm a little bit like intimidated in a way,
Mm-hmm.
because I know that they know
Yeah,
more, something like
they're
that.
more credible
um
people.
yeah, something like that. So yeah, and in the end, they're really like very proactive in this undergraduate advising. So yeah, but in the end, yeah, I still got to advise at least one.
Yeah.
And that was that was actually an achievement, because there's this annual uh, like
Conference? No.
local conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like academe paper competition held by
Yeah.
AEI,
Yeah. Yeah.
so microelectronics related. And it's fun because
Did you win?
so I yes, I won,
Ooh.
like I can't remember what year. Maybe I can check my CV. It's in there. Yeah, I won like one while I was taking my masters, I think. So I think 2013, if I'm not mistaken. So I won during 2013, and then I think I also joined the competition on 2014, but I didn't
Mm-hmm.
win at that point. And then I think on 2015, um, I'm not actually sure about the timeline of events, but after some time, I asked Eugene to actually join this competition, and he won.
Wow. Nice.
And we actually
That's
have
a that's
this
an
like we, we
that's an
have this
advisor
picture
achievement.
wherein, yeah, I know. We have this picture wherein I have this trophy that I got back
Ooh.
then, and he has this trophy.
If
And
you
then
won like one more time,
so
if you won like one more time, it'll be like Hall of
so
Fame.
oh my god, yeah. And then I can remember like Sir Louis saying that when we were going home from that competition, because Sir Louis um also has his student join this competition, um and my advice won, right? And he was joking, oh, I can now successfully retire. Something like that.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
Well, now moving forward to when you actually started preparing your applications for a PhD. So why did you wait? So you graduated 2014. Technically, you could have started as early as 2015 if you wanted to. So why did you wait until 2017?
Okay, so yeah, during this 3-year full-time teaching job, I was still uh but again, I'm already like passionate in teaching. A lot of students tell me that. However, um again, I know that the end of the line would be me being required to take this PhD studies, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I think during this 3-year period, I'm always half-hearted taking
Oh.
taking not half-hearted doing the teaching stuff, but um no half-hearted taking the PhD studies after. So in a way, I'm like hesitating. Oh, doing this PhD studies will take like what 5,
5 years.
6 years, something like that. And then I'm thinking, and then most likely, although you can do your PhD in UP, there that's fine, right? But most likely, if I if I applied somewhere else internationally, then I'll be leaving home, studying abroad for like 5 to 6 years,
Stop teaching.
stop teaching, which is yeah, actually that's maybe the ultimate reason. Stop teaching while
Teaching.
taking this uh while finishing my PhD degree. And in a way, that's I don't know. I have this thought that maybe if I prolong this, then I can still enjoy teaching. And then when the time comes, so this was my thinking back then. So, and then when the time comes when they required me to actually take my PhD degree, then maybe I can transfer somewhere else to teach, to continue teaching. Get that?
Oh, okay.
So I really found my passion in teaching to the point that okay, after my 3 years is up in UP, then maybe I can go somewhere to continue this teaching thing just because I've grown to love this thing, right? So
Oh.
yeah, and then so again, that's basically just to answer your question, right?
Yeah.
Why did I delay? Just
Yeah.
because I really want to maximize this experience, right? Teaching people as much as possible. And then I have this thinking that maybe I can just transfer to another university if ever, if I really wanted to teach.
University.
Why did I still push through, right? So during this 3-year period, we had this another project, um, a collaborative project between UP Microlab and UC Berkeley, um, where we like a group of us, like 5 of us, something like that, actually went to UC Berkeley here
So what
for
year
four
was this?
times, 4 times, 1 month each. I think that was 2013 to 20. No, 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 no.
2015.
2015,
2015.
2016, something like that. Um, so yeah, it was like 4 workshops per 1 month. And each of these workshops is basically this group of faculty members from UP, affiliated microlab, goes to UC Berkeley to actually do some project, right?
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, or specifically during the last workshop, uh, since so again this collaborative project is also like the principal investigator is, I think, Sir Louis, and he knows that um, that would be one of the last. Although I think they extended the project anyway, but for the phase one of that project, the fourth workshop was the last one, and he knows that also after that workshop, um, that will also be the time. So 1 year after that, that will be also the time wherein I would need to go out to get my PhD degree. So basically, um, what happened was on that last um, workshop, he set me up for a meeting
Yeah.
with one of his colleagues um, when he was still uh,
A student.
a PhD student here in UC Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
So, who's now a faculty member
Yep.
um,
So,
on the same department.
question. Yeah. So,
Yes.
question. At that time, were you looking at other potential universities other than UC Berkeley? Because Berkeley is such, prestigious one, and the probability of getting in is really slim.
Yeah. So
You-
again, in a way, again, if you go back, my mindset is still okay. I love teaching, and as much as possible, I don't want to to do my
to live.
PhD.
Mm-hmm.
That was still my mindset back then, and even even though that's my mindset, someone, in this case Sir Louis, is actually setting up the stage for me. He has done a lot of stuff to actually like really prepare me for this path in a way. So again, I think the very first step was basically for him to actually introduce me to this colleague who's now a faculty advisor, a faculty member in UC Berkeley. And basically that was the stepping stone in a way for me to actually for me to actually introduce myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
To make myself known. Um, and then I just uh, after that meeting, and then like few months before actually applying,
Uh-huh.
I just thought myself, okay, let's just try, right? Let's just try anyway. Um, if I applied and I wasn't accepted, then it's not meant to be. Then
Yeah.
I'll just do the f- the thing that I'm thinking about back then, right? Maybe I can just transfer to another university and then
Mm-hmm.
just continue teaching.
Yeah.
But then, okay, someone is setting up the stage. Let's try anyway, right? So I tried. Um, so actually one of the requirements for the PhD application was to take the GRE, right?
Mm-hmm. So you had to
So
review and all, right?
yeah. However, again, just because I'm so half-hearted about this thing, I'm not really. I didn't really prepare for it. Okay, so usually, if like people prepare for taking the GRE exam, they usually like I've read forums about it,
Yeah.
and they were saying that, oh, you have to prepare for like 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. Others would even get tutors and all. Take a leave from work and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, I know. I only prepared for like 3 days.
Wow. Demigod. Demigod mode.
I, I was so half-hearted at the point that I didn't really commit myself reviewing or preparing for this big time exam, right? Again, in the point of view of UC Berkeley, I think this the GRE score, specifically the math
Want? Yeah.
part, the quant, what's the full term for that?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, the math part. Um, it's one of the scores that they're actually checking So I think they have an internal threshold, such that if your score is higher than this score, then they can actually like start processing your application and then start considering it, or passing it to the
Mm-hmm.
advisors or something, potential advisors. So yeah, but then again, there's a lot of pressure um, for you to actually do better or
Yeah.
do your best in this exam, taking 3 months if ever for you to prepare. But no, I'm so half-hearted to the point that I just prepare for like 3 days. I just check, okay, how how's the exam basically? How hard is it? So good thing that they have this online like sample
Yeah, the free
questions, something
exams.
like
Yep.
that. They even have like a trial software wherein you can actually experience the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
complete with the time pressure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's when I realized, oh, the questions are actually easy. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, they are
If you
easy.
if,
It's
if
just
you give time, it's easy.
yeah,
However, the only thing that will kill you is time. And
exactly.
that's basically the thing that you have to prepare for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah,
Because like yeah, the math concepts are really very elementary. Like geometry are very
yes.
basic, but
Yes.
knowing that you have 30 minutes to answer it and all the
Yeah.
options, it's not like all the options are possible answers if you become
Yes.
careless of a
Uh,
specific one.
Actually, that's the hard part, right? Because typically if you're given multiple choice questions, you just answer one and then
Yeah.
that's it, right? But then the tricky part here is that you can answer 3 out of 5, right? And if you miss one, that's still considered wrong, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you really have to like pay attention on the different choices, and yeah,
I
I think
think
that's
one interesting lesson or insight that I got from this story is that at least for people who are still like half-heartedly or cannot come up with a decision if they want to go for it, like taking up your master's, applying for this job, or working towards applying your PhD, it's just you'll actually never know if you have a chance unless you try.
yeah, yeah.
So basically,
So
for your case,
just
it was
just try
like
it.
just try it. So if I get it, then it's for me. If not, maybe it's time to move
Yeah.
on. And but then, if you can go back, would you try to prepare more, maybe for the GRE or something? Because like you were fortunate in the sense that you made it, but what if you did not make it? And would you think of it as if probably it's because I did not take my GRE seriously. What could have happened? Like, do you have any regrets with the decisions or the preparations that you made going in?
Hmm. Again, if I place myself like during this like months before the actual deadline wherein I really have to like apply, or else I cannot continue being an instructor or being a full-time faculty member. Um, I don't know, because again the way I'm seeing it is I wanted to teach. That's it. Um, and taking this PhD, that would mean that I will stop teaching,
Mm-hmm.
stop doing what I love, right?
Oh.
So and that's the difficult thing. So again, right now, well, I'm taking my PhD now, and again, it's not that bad. Um,
You meet a lot of
yes,
people.
I do meet a lot of people, yes, but it's not that. Again, I'm I'm rather introverted, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
really care about meeting new people.
Mm-hmm.
um, but then again, okay, I'm doing well now, doing this PhD. Yes, I'm not teaching, but again, it's it's fine. It's apparently fine, right? So it's not that bad. Okay. So given this knowledge right now that it's not bad uh taking PhD studies anyway,
Mm-hmm.
even though that means that I won't be teaching, uh yeah, maybe
What have you learned so far, I guess? Or like takeaways that you think you could apply when you go back to UP to teach? Because like they're teaching. I'm not sure. Have you taken like courses, or are you doing pure research right now?
Right now, I'm done with the coursework. So they usually have this set of courses that you have to take, and usually this set of courses can be finished within like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm done with my third year, and basically I'm done with all of the required coursework. So yeah, at this
Halfway.
point, yeah, halfway. So basically at this point I can focus or dedicate most of my time doing research. So yeah, what have I learned? That's something new. Uh, I I'm not sure. So most of the coursework that I've taken so far have their somewhat of an equivalent
Uh-huh.
to the coursework that I have taken while I was taking my master's back in
Okay.
UP.
So maybe probably
So
learning in a sense of like what teaching did you learn more of like soft skills or like teaching styles that you could probably adapt, or observations like, oh, this kind of teaching works well here, maybe we can try doing it in triple E.
well, I guess one thing that's very common in the way they teach like technical courses
Mm-hmm.
in Berkeley is that they tend to write on their iPads, right?
Ah, yeah.
Wherein the typical approach is back in UP, you just have like your PowerPoint
Yeah.
slides and then you just scroll through them. But here they're more like hands-on, so they really like show the math, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't just project the equations, but they
Uh-huh.
really have to manually write on the slides that they have to actually show you the process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that thing is new. Although, if you think about, I don't know if you've been a student of Sir Louis, uh, but basically that's the way, that's how he teaches. Well, maybe again, just
Maybe you
because
got that
he
from
just,
Berkeley.
I know, right? Yeah, I know.
So yeah.
So that's something new. Although again, when I was teaching in UP, since I found out this way of teaching from Sir Louis, I in a way also imitated that. So I'm also like doodling on my slides, and I think that's a significant step. So yeah, so now that basically invalidates the career, that's really not something new, right? Because I'm already doing it anyway.
Yeah.
uh,
Maybe you just got to
I
experience it
can't.
firsthand as a student.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Yeah, and then I get to appreciate that, oh, it really works, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, them this teachers really like writing it down, basically somewhat handholds you to this derivation approach
Mm-hmm.
in some way, and it really makes it more of a visual experience, right?
Yeah.
So and that really works. You get to appreciate that this approach really works.
Yeah.
So especially if you can like leverage technology, right? Because this is
Mm-hmm.
something that um you really can't do back then. Well, maybe they can do that, but they're like writing it on paper and then they're projecting it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
with technology wherein you can actually have your set of slides, and now you can do that on your slides. So yeah, you can leverage technology to uh, really make teaching more
Yeah,
effective,
more
right?
effective. Yeah, and when
Mhm.
you think about it, like reflecting on like what the university is requiring its faculty to do, like taking a PhD. Like when you think about it, it's like when we were in an undergrad, when we were in college, like we are forced, quote unquote, forced to do something, and then you really get to appreciate it once, maybe once you're in that activity or once you get to finish that activity. Because like they say that one reason why people need to get PhD more and more, like get PhD outside the Philippines, is for us to get new to get exposed to a different culture and maybe adopt whatever is being practiced in the university and bring it back
Yeah.
to our institute. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
5-year investment could be worth it in some way if you're going to spend the next 40 years of your career in academia, like mentoring so many different generation of engineers. So it can still
Yeah.
be worth it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So to maybe kind of summarize or end this conversation topic. So could you maybe summarize or provide some insights to people who are looking to get a PhD or pursue a career, maybe further studies? What might or might not work for them based on what are the things that work for you, or what are the factors that contributed to you getting in a good program and just kickstarting your career later on.
Okay, so maybe like I can phrase this in a point of what are the things that you really have to prepare for when like
Mm-hmm.
applying for PhD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can do it like that. Um, so I think one major thing that really helped me in my application is one, I have um, I have a lot of publications, and again, you can attribute that because I took my master's, and I've been like publishing papers um, from the projects that I've done. So yeah, basically me having a number of publications really helped because in one of the uh, casual conversations I had with my advisor, basically what she said is one thing that they're looking for PhD applicants is that they wanted someone who's working like a UC Berkeley graduate student already.
Okay. What
So
do you mean by
basically,
that?
so basically, since what they're expecting for a typical UC Berkeley graduate student is someone who publishes paper,
Mm-hmm.
or someone who does research,
Mm-hmm.
and from those research he can publish papers,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So they have this set of expectations for a typical UC Berkeley graduate student,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to see this um, expectation um, from someone who's applying
Mm-hmm.
for the PhD degree, right? So, or applying as a PhD student.
And this is in the context of a PhD student, an applicant for the electrical engineering
Yeah,
program,
well, again, everything
or
that I say is something that's more on limited to this department, right? Just because I don't. Yo,
I'm
okay, we
still
got
here.
disconnected
My
again.
connection is
Yeah, okay.
unstable,
All right.
but I'm still here.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you were
so
saying it was base perspective is from engineering,
yeah,
basically.
yeah. So that's one major thing that really helped me with my application. Another thing is that I think another major contributor was the recommendation letters.
Mm-hmm.
So um, as much as possible. So this is hard to actually. Uh, so I'm giving this advice. Okay, you have to get good recommendation letters, but
Yeah.
it's hard for me to actually um, give tips on how to
Mm-hmm.
get a great recommendation letter
Yeah.
because
So maybe we
um,
can just phrase it into based on your experience. So it will depend on people who are like listening to this, how they will take or how they will get insights from your experiences, because what worked for you might not work for them because they are in a
yeah.
different circumstance, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you really want to pursue PhD studies, um, well, depends on what your starting point is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if your starting point is not directly after undergrad,
Mm-hmm.
again that's possible. You can jump after getting your undergrad straight to PhD. That's a little hard to uh, advise because basically the only thing that would help you is your grades, right?
Yeah.
That's it. However, um, if your starting point is something that's similar to mine, wherein I took my master's, I had like this 3-year thing that I'm
Mm-hmm.
uh, doing research slash teaching. If that's your starting point, then you have this drive that you really want to get your PhD degree sometime,
Mm-hmm.
then the best advice is work on projects, right? Work on research. Um, this will come along with this, yeah, taking your master's. Of course, your thesis would end up as a research, would end up as a publication later on. That helps, and then as much as possible, join, uh, be a part, not join. It's the same thing. Be a part, of a lot of research projects,
Yep.
especially in your lab, right? So yeah. Again, coming back from our previous uh, discussion, one thing that really set me up for this PhD studies was Sir Louis introducing me to his colleague, right?
Yeah.
And that wouldn't happen if I didn't join this workshop,
Yeah.
right? And that wouldn't happen if I'm not part of the project in
Mm-hmm.
the first place. So basically, that worked for me because I was part of the project. Now I ended up doing this workshop, and now I
Mm-hmm.
got to meet his colleague, and now I'm here. So something like
Yeah.
that. So
And I think we can
aggressively, yeah,
I think we
aggressively join
yeah.
projects, right?
I think we can also connect it, yeah, with joining projects. So it also depends. It also boils down, or we can tailor it with the choices that you choose to make to move your career forward. You will be exposed at a certain time or at a certain point to opportunities that will lead you to where you want to be in the
Yes.
future.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so basically knowing the right people, being close to the right people will lead to where you want to be. So if it's not
Yeah.
taking a PhD, maybe getting an MBA or something for people
Mm-hmm.
who are into getting an MBA or a professional master's. So be sure to or move yourself closer to those people, because whatever they're doing, it will contribute directly to the career that you want to take.
Yeah, yeah. If you really have this long-term goal and that's something that's really fixed, so you have to think of ways to actually um, help you along the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, try to look for, yeah, so as you've said, look for these opportunities that will take you closer to that goal, right? So yeah, be close, or create networks of
Yep.
people that will lead you to this set of people that will help you like write recommendation letters, for
Uh-huh.
example, something like that, right? So or join projects that will um, take you closer to your target university if ever. So something like that, right?
Yeah, so I think it was a great conversation. Wow, it's almost 50 minutes. Nice.
I never
There was,
noticed the time.
yeah, this was the length that I was looking for. So I think we can end this recording here. I hope, yeah,
Okay.
this was very productive, and I actually got a lot of insights too. I'll stop the recording. Thank you, sir. Bye.